Hi everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot. I'm here with another installment of Spread It Out Sunday. Spread It Out Sunday is a series that I started on my channel, and the basic premise behind it is that I have quite a few decks and books in my tarot library. So I wanted to kind of dig into my library and find tarot spreads that are hidden in the guidebooks that accompany the decks and hidden in the tarot books that I have on my shelf. And this really came about because, number one, I wanted to reconnect with some decks that maybe I haven't taken out in a while or I haven't used in a while, and also connect with spreads that are in these guidebooks and a lot of times relate to the energy and really sort of enhance the use of the deck, because these are spreads that were created specifically for certain decks, or spreads that are coming from tarot books that were created for specific reasons, to answer specific questions, to explore specific themes. So this is going to be a special double episode of Spread It Out Sunday. So it's going to be a little bit longer. And the reason for this is there's been a lot going on this week. Anyone in the United States knows that this has been a week. And I'm feeling really dysregulated. And so I'm going to do sort of a back-to-back spread, one that helps me to connect to and explore these kind of feelings I'm having, very big feelings about very large themes, overarching themes that are happening. And then one to sort of help me connect and be gentle with myself and sort of connect to that, that sort of regulating, right? I feel dysregulated, so now I want to get regulated. I need to re-regulate myself. I need to center myself. I need to ground myself. So that's what we're going to do. So the spread that I'm going to be doing is actually from a tarot book, and it is coming from this Lessons from the Empress, a tarot workbook for self-care and creative growth. This is by Cassandra Snow and Siri Vincent Plouffe. And I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that, so I do apologize. But this is a very magical tarot book, and it really is to connect to that really creative, that fertile ground that is embodied in sort of the archetype of the Empress card. But the spread that I chose from this book is within the swords suit. So there are different spreads to connect with the different suits. This is coming from the, not shockingly, the sword suit. And how do you love my bookmark? It says, this is definitely going on my most fucked up shit list. And that pretty much sums up how I feel about this week. So that's my bookmark. And so we're going to do the sharp realization spread from this tarot book. It says, this spread will help you cut through the brain fog and get to that essential truth of a situation. This can help even outside of your creative life. Use this spread when you're really confused about what the best process for moving forward is. This spread also helps you identify why it's difficult for you to think through this stuff, which is extremely helpful. So I thought this was perfect for sort of the scrambled eggs that is my brain this week. Amongst other things, I just feel very dysregulated in my thoughts and sort of don't know how to regroup for myself, as well as how to effectively move forward and be intentional and meaningful in the things that I want to commit myself to on a larger scale, for the collective and, for community at large. So I thought this sharp realization spread, which is a lovely play on words for the sword suit, would be great. So this is a 3-card spread. Card 1 says, what is the underlying truth of this situation? Card 2 is, what is blocking me from seeing the truth? Card 3, what else can I do about it? So it's pretty simple, 3 cards, right? But again, I like this, and I have to get the reading glasses out because I'm not getting any younger, and my eyesight is clearly not getting any better. What is the underlying truth of this situation? What is blocking me from seeing the truth? What can I do about it? I like the what is blocking me from seeing the truth, because I feel, and I'm not sure about anyone else, I just sort of feel like the acceptance part of sort of the grief process. You know, where are we with this acceptance part? And what's blocking me kind of from seeing the reality, the real reality, if that makes sense. What am I actually dealing with here? And what is just a jumbled mess in my brain, in my very dysregulated brain. So we're going to try this sharp realization spread. And I'm kind of pulling out a big gun, one of my big guns decks for this one that actually typically is assists me in these types of situations, and is very helpful for me, in particular when I'm dealing with situations where I need to sort of quiet my mind and get a little more clarity, and it feels like a very swordsy deck in general. And that is the Somnia Tarot. And I mean, I use this deck. It's one of my favorite decks. I use this deck for so many different things. It is not just like the shadowy deck, you know, that we think it is. It is helpful in confronting things that are very big and very deep and very confusing and very unsettling. So we're using the Somnia Tarot by Nicholas Bruno. This is the original edition. I know there's an illustrated edition. This is the original edition. So the Somnia Tarot, like I said, it's a brilliant deck. I have a video, a deep dive of this deck on my channel. I will try to remember to link it because it definitely warrants closer look and a deeper study, and just it has such an amazing energy, which is really unsettling. I think the fact that the deck itself, some of the imagery is unsettling, I think that helps in dealing with big things that are unsettling, on, like I said, on larger scale. So many themes that are such a larger and kind of extend so much farther outside of myself. So we're going to use the Somnia Tarot for this sharp realization spread. And like I said, it's 3 cards. So it's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Just give this deck a shuffle. This deck is a little bit larger, I think, than standard tarot size. I think it has a really nice card stock. It's like, it's not matte. It's not glossy. It's just like a nice smooth card stock. It's kind of got a satiny feel to it, and I really like it. But it is a little bit larger because it tends to hurt my hands a little bit. But that's kind of, I don't know. I kind of like the fact that it hurts my hands, which makes no sense. But just that, again, that another sensory experience, like if I'm feeling pain and like the physical pain sort of gets me in touch with the emotional stuff too. If that makes any sense. Like I said, who's making sense this week? Not me. What is the underlying truth of the situation? Put the reading glasses on, Christy. There you go. What is the underlying truth of this situation? So let's get this first card. What is the underlying truth of this situation? So let's see what the Somnia Tarot is going to give us for this underlying truth in this situation that we don't even know what this situation is. So much going on. Ooh, the 6 of Swords. Amazing. Okay. The 6 of Swords. And as I'm talking about swords, and we're doing a spread that's related to the swords, and I said this is a swordsy deck. Of course, here we go. Here's a swords card for us. So what is the underlying truth of this situation? The 6 of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull all the cards since it's only 3. I'm going to pull them all right now. And then I will digest and think about this a little bit. What is blocking me from seeing the truth? And so much of this deck, because there's a lot of blindfolds and shrouds, like people are shrouded in this deck. We don't see faces. So I feel like this is a great deck for exploring themes of blockages. What's blocking me from seeing this truth? Because it has that swordsy feel, like I was saying. I just think this is a great deck for this sort of exploring the blocking situation. Oh my gosh, the Devil. Oh my gosh, the Devil. These Spread It Out Sunday readings are just, I just am blown away every Sunday. I feel like I say that every Sunday, but I'm blown away. So the positioning is thus that we put this card over that one. That's how it's positioned in the book. So we will do that because that's what's blocking the underlying truth, what's blocking us from seeing the truth. And then what can I do about it is the third card. So we're visually seeing sort of this block happening within this spread. So we lay the cards this way. So we're kind of seeing this visual right there on the table. We're seeing a visual. Okay, so what can I do about it? The Ace of Cups. Amazing. Amazing. We got emotions. We got emotions. All right. So let's digest. Let's look and digest a little. Okay. So what is the underlying truth of this situation? So what is the underlying truth of this situation? And I'm going to try to open this book and leave it right here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to keep picking it up. Can you help me out? Thank you. Of course you can. Garnet. My garnet crystal is helping us. This is very grounding, a very grounding crystal, a very earthy crystal. Thank you for grounding us and holding this book open. So what is blocking me? What is the underlying truth of the situation? And we got the Six of Swords. So I love, again, I love that we got I love that we got a swords card in the mix. Because of, again, of this idea of, just it being such a like I said, this deck having such a swords energy already. And again, we're doing a spread that's, from this book, for the swords suit. So I think it's amazing that we got the Six of Swords. So what is the underlying truth of this situation? Well, what do we know about the Six of Swords? It's sort of, about, we think of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery as I'm trying to kind of hold that in my mind's eye of this, the leaving one shore for another, right? The boat, the figures in the boat, they're facing one shore, their back is to another. So here we see this figure with their back towards us, and they're in a hot air balloon, which I think is so genius for a sword suit, for that feeling, that air energy that we're bringing in here. And I love that there's sandbags, and the sandbags have been pierced, right? Have been pierced, and now the sand is coming out. So sort of that weight being lifted. So what is the underlying truth of this situation? I mean, without getting too political, I feel like something that is confronting this truth that's been confronting is that that we sort of maybe as a society as a whole are to blame for where we find ourselves right now. How that we weren't seeing the truth. Like the underlying truth is that we didn't want to face the truth. We don't want to face the truth as a country. And as a society, this is my feeling. Again, I'm interpreting this based on my scrambled egg brain from this week. So the Six of Swords to me is we're thinking about this theme of, being weighed down by so many things. Look at how many sandbags are holding down this balloon. And it looks like the swords are all on the shore. Like all of the swords are really sort of kept on the shore. I think there's one not there. There's 5 swords. So, you're leaving sort of the battle. Like the underlying truth is that I feel like we gave up, like the battle. We lost the battle before the experience of, we've lost that battle before it was even begun. And we were fighting with the wrong weapons, if that makes any sense. And the underlying truth is that I feel like this was the outcome that deep down was expected, and we sort of turned our back on that, and we're sort of moving away from that. We were moving away from that whole experience. I think that this thinking about like the Six of Swords being that card of travel, like traveling, and obviously we're not talking about literal travel here. I think to me it's more reflective of the journeys that we have been to get to us to this point. And the journey started, like this journey started so many years ago, and there was like so many opportunities, and I feel like we've all, at least my feeling is, certain populations in this country have failed other people and others in this country, and I feel like it's a big collective failure that we did not embrace the journey that we've been on and used it the way we were supposed to. I think the underlying truth is that there could have been so much more done, and I speak for myself personally. Like, I speak for myself. There was so much more like educated I could have been, and knowledgeable and informed, and I think the complacency was definitely there. So I feel like this idea that a boat, like they were in a rowboat in the Rider-Waite-Smith. They're like, you're rowing. This is not like a fast journey. You're not in a speedboat speeding across, and this hot air balloon is not like jetting off. It's not a rocket ship. This is not. It's a slow, like that sand is slowly. So that sand is just slowly, and like you're barely moving, and so there's a lot of time to just sit there and have to wait. And I think that's what it was. It's like we were waiting for something. We were waiting instead of embracing and figuring out what we were supposed to do on this journey, and that's it. This journey started a long time ago, and I feel like in the guidebook for this deck, for the Somnia Tarot, Nicholas Bruno talks about sort of the like it starts off like your journey can start off calm, and then like it can quickly change and result in some dire situation, and we find ourselves in a dire situation now. So I'm thinking that the underlying truth of this situation is that we were a little too optimistic, a little too comfortable in our journey and comfortable with it, and we kind of turned our back on what the truth, the hard truths. And that's what I think the underlying truth of this situation is that we turned our back on the truth a long time ago. So what is blocking me from seeing the truth? We have the Devil card, which is just an amazing visceral depiction of the Devil card, I feel, in the Somnia. In my opinion, this again, this is. So what is blocking me from seeing the truth? Well, hubris. I feel like hubris is one of the things that comes to mind related to what I was just saying about the Six of Swords. I feel like self-destruction, self-destruction has been blocking me from seeing the truth, and on a larger scale, just the collective. I think it's it's just like negative, those toxic and negative traits and patterns and things that we get stuck in. And as a society, we are stuck in we are entrenched in some really deep rooted, like systematic, structures and these very broad systems that are in place that we are entrenched in. And we need to extricate ourselves from this. And so I think for me, it's again hubris. It's self-destruction without the intent. So we didn't intend, I'm not intending to have this feeling of being, self-destructing. But then rarely are we ever like, yes, I'm going to intentionally self-destruct. Unless you have that, you're trying to sabotage, right? Like the self-sabotage, if you're trying to, I think sometimes we try to, sometimes we don't realize that that's what we're doing. And I think that just sort of, that's what's blocking me from seeing the truth is the very devils that we try to escape are the devils that we're embracing. The very devils that's what I'm getting. Sometimes the very devils we are trying to escape And the ones that we're turning to are devils themselves. And they're devils in disguise, and sometimes not really in disguise. Sometimes we lift this. See, we don't see this figure in this card, and we lift this like off of the figure, and it's not, we're shocked and not who we expect to see. It's the one that we were bowing to. And I think that the devils live in our systems. And so I think that that's the situation with blocking. What can I do about it? And I think it's beautiful that we pulled the Ace of Cups. I think it's fitting for what I can do about it. It's sort of what I've been trying to embrace, is that is holding on to what I feel are the most important, my own morals and my own moral compass, and what I feel is the most important, like really at that heart-centered space. I would love to pull out the book. So the Somnia Tarot came with a little white booklet, very simple. There was an extra companion book, which I did purchase to go with this deck. So it comes with a very simple little white booklet, very straightforward. So I would love to maybe dive into this for the cups. Let's see. I remember like a lot of because I did the deep dive, I do remember, but I would love to just look at this for what can I do about it. It says the Ace of Cups symbolizes the abundant nature of love and compassion that we receive from the universe. Themes of creativity, revelations of new bonds, both platonic and romantic, exchanges of unconditional love or foretold by the Ace of Cups. The wooden vessel returns from the depths of the overflowing well to share its divine gifts with the viewer. And then the creator does talk about how he created the card, which I think is amazing. Just about what this is, how the well was constructed, the bucket, the things like that. So it's a fabulous book, a companion book to the deck. But I love this idea. The keywords are abundance, new relationships, contentment, divine inspiration. And I think that's it. What can I do about it is to forge these new relationships that are going to help for me, seek out those that are of the same sort of in that same heart-centered space as I am, and who I can learn from and I can educate. So I need to seek out those people that I can connect with and support, that is going to help me myself sort of rise above this feeling, and sort of start to build what needs to be built in order to move forward. I like the divine inspiration, sort of this connecting with the universe, connecting with sort of some divine energy, whatever that looks like for people, connecting to that divine, and so that we can move forward, so that we can access the humanity that is there. And how do we reach the humanity of others? How do we reach the emotions that are at the center of all of these big themes that, we are seeing, being discussed and being addressed. And so I think the Ace of Cups is a beautiful card to pick for what can I do about it? What can we do about it? As a collective, I like this. As a collective universe, connecting with that divine, forging these new relationships that are almost like healthier relationships that are going to support, the end goal, like the goal that we have. The goal that I have for what I'm looking, to do in order to move on from this feeling of being dysregulated. So I think powerful stuff from the Somnia Tarot. It never disappoints, never. So if you don't have this deck, I highly recommend checking this deck out. If you originally were like, this is creepy, I kind of had the same feeling. I remember kind of seeing this. I waited on this deck, and I didn't get it when everyone else did, but man, is this deck a joy and a magical and very insightful tool. Again, like I said, it never disappoints. And the book again is Lessons from the Empress, a tarot workbook for self-care and creative growth. Again, this was in the Swords, the Journey Through the Swords. This was one of the spreads connected to the swords. So it is a very good book. Again, I recommend you checking that out. So as we sort of dived into the shadows with that, like I said, this is going to be a double feature of Spread It Out Sunday. So as we dived into sort of that more shadowy, like swordsy type of energy, I want, and we sort of connect with all of that, the stuff, all of the confronting and stuff that not exactly pretty and fluffy, but the things that we have to face, right? Those hard truths. We got to get around those blocks. And after doing that work, I always feel like I need to now kind of tap into the more gentle and self-care, and loving and grounding and bringing me sort of back to my center. And of course, there's no better deck than the Gentle Tarot to do that with, right? The Gentle Tarot, its very name is the vibe that we're looking for now as we sort of move away from that more shadowy and confronting and now to the more grounding and self-love. And with this is the linen edition. And with the linen edition comes some reference cards. And in the one of the reference cards that comes with the deck is this spread card. And so we are going to today the extra love spread, because let's face it, I need some extra love. I feel like we all could use some extra love this week, regardless of where you are or what your thoughts are and what your opinions are and what your views are, is we could all use a little bit of extra love at this moment. So we're going to take some time this Sunday to give ourselves some extra love. So this is 4 cards. The root of this situation, what to release, what to embrace, what power of mine to call in. And we need to call in some power. I've been thinking a lot about these themes of compassion and courage and like the compassion and the feeling of wanting to cut someone. You know what I mean? Like the double edge of that double-edged sword of just, calling in that compassion, but also just, it's those two things, and also just the rage, the rage that is inside. So I've been sort of dealing with some of that energy. And so we're going to do the extra love spread. The root of this situation, and this linen version is amazing for shuffling. It's like the perfect size. It's the perfect size deck, I think. So let's connect with this Gentle Tarot, so that we can be loving with ourselves. The root of this situation, and then what are we going to release? So the 8 of Stones. Okay, so the 8 of Stones. And stones in this deck are the pentacles. The stones are the pentacles in this deck. So the suits have been renamed. So we have the stones, the 8 of Stones, the root of the situation. Okay, let's pull all the cards. What to release. So our second card is what to release. Oh, and we have a jumper. So that's the one we're going to go with. The 7 of Cups. Okay, I like that. What to release. What to release and what to embrace. So what are we embracing in this situation? Let's see. The 6 of Thunder. I love that we're getting all the elements here. I love this. So Thunder is swords. Thunder's the sword suit in the Gentle Tarot. Cups is obviously cups. That one hasn't been renamed. What to embrace? What power of mine to call in? What's the power? What power are we calling in? Like I said, I feel like I definitely need to call in some power. The 4 of Wands. Okay. So the elements are speaking to us today. Again, I am always blown away by these Spread It Out Sunday readings. I'm always blown away. So we've got the 4 elements, which I feel like extra love, we're feeling it now. Like that whole divine access, that divine universe feeling, I feel like we're getting it. We're getting the message right now as we have all of the elements here to help us ground right in this earth energy. It's not just the earth, it's all the elements we need to connect to. So I feel like that's a message in itself. The fact that we have just seen every single element arrive in this spread for us. So let's see the 8 of Stones. Let's go into the guidebook. And there is, again, a beautiful guidebook, extra guidebook that comes with this deck, the Gentle Tarot. Heal yourself, heal the earth. It's a beautiful guidebook. So let's see what the guidebook has to say. Because this is a brilliant guidebook, let's be real, written by Mari in the Sky. So let's dig right into the guidebook. 8 of Stones, the root of this situation. And here we have it, is the divine flowing through me. So again, themes of sort of this universe connecting to this divine energy. What is the root of this situation? The satisfaction I feel from refining my skill is enough to know that I am complete when I give time to my sacred work. In this card, we don't see the figure as much as we see their art, because the beauty, stability, and refinement of their craft is a direct reflection of them. Through your creations, you live, travel, and serve others. As much as your dedication to your calling is healing for you, it is equally healing for the world around you. Mind blown. Upright. I don't read reversals, so let's think. The essence of this card highlights focus, determination, and the interest to learn, which is exactly what I was just speaking about in this prior reading about my own. I need to educate myself more. There is that interest to learn. What are your interests? Do you make time for them? In the same way that you give yourself the nutrients and vitamins that you need, you can nourish your soul with a practice that calls to you. Absolutely. It says this is an intricately painted earthenware in a workspace. Large smudges of paint or clay color the table. The red and green symbol on the pot is the Aztec symbol Alin, which represents opposing energies that come together to birth the cycles that recreate all of life. Night and day, masculine, feminine, hot, cold, light, dark. Wow. Pottery is an ancient craft made of earth, just like the element of the stone suit. It represents grounding, reconnecting with the element of the stone suit. So I pulled this out because I wanted to feel more grounded and I wanted to feel more centered and sort of move back to that centered space and calm that, scrambled egg brain of mine. So I love that this card came up, the root of the situation. And in the guidebook, it's giving us sort of all the messages we need, sort of that connection to the earth, that connection to the divine, that wanting to learn, that seeking the knowledge that's going to help me in moving forward and making the impact that I want to make. And then am I giving myself the time to do that? Do I have a practice that is one that, is aligned with what I'm looking for and what I'm looking to get out of it. And so I think that is the root of this situation, is I found it in my work, my career life, my work life, my professional life. And so it's like, how do I seek it now in just in being a member of community and a member of this society and this country and the world as a whole? And how am I doing that? And where am I putting in the work? Where is the work being put in? And I have to put in the work. What to release? We got the 7 of Cups. So I feel like what to release, for me, the 7 of Cups always feels like even though it's a cup card, I feel like it has to do with a lot of you're not being able to focus attention on one thing. I feel like I don't know, a lot of times it's I love this because the figure is almost ooh, fire. I feel like this a lot has to do with being scatterbrained, almost just not knowing where to put the attention. It's ooh, fire. It's being distracted. I'm being distracted. I have to release this idea of overthinking and being distracted by anything and everything. I can choose how I spend my time, right? I can choose how and where I put my energy and I put my time. And I have that choice. I have that control. And if I want to put it in 7 different buckets, I can. If I want to focus on one bucket at a time, I can. If I want to put all my eggs in one basket, I have the control and choice to do that. Is that going to serve me best? I don't know. But I think I have to release this idea that like I don't have control over it. I do have control over it. And I have that choice. Like I need to be intentional. It's, the focusing on what is my intent. I need to focus like all of my energy instead of being distracted. I need to release that. Distractions, while sometimes can be a good thing, I feel like in this situation, like from the last reading, distraction is what got us where we are today. Like we were distracted by the devils in disguise, if you will. So what to embrace is, we got the 6 of Thunder. So this is swords. So I love that the truth card, what was the underlying truth card we got before was the 6 of Swords. And now we're getting the 6 of Swords again, where we're getting this is the Thunder. Again, this is the Thunder. Thunder is the sword suit. So now we're pulling the 6 of Swords again. And this is the what to embrace. So almost like the previous reading, we're embracing the truth. Again, we have to embrace the truth. We have to understand what that underlying truth is, and we need to embrace it. So I think we need to embrace the change. We need to embrace that moving from one thing to another. We need to embrace being uncomfortable, like not knowing what we're moving into necessarily, not knowing where we're headed, but it's sort of embracing that. I like in this card, she's riding this figure's riding a giant whale, right? This is the whale. It looks like, I don't know what kind of whale that is, but it's a whale. And so, and the figure looks so like kind of carefree. Like I've let go of all this shit that, that's left at the other shore. And I'm riding this, this whale, over to something greater, and it's unknown, but it almost has the full vibes, like being open to like this new, what's ahead of me. And and I like the fact that she's riding this. So like this this feeling of being connected to the earth, right? This earth energy. And knowing that there's something new on that other side, right? There's something new on the other side, and it's unknown, and it could be scary, but we need to embrace the new, embrace, the destruction and the chaos that may have to come to get to where we want to be. And then what power of mind to call in. And I love that we got a fire, right? We got the wands. So we got the fire suit. And to me, fire is powerful. Yes, fire is destructive as well, but fire is powerful. And so embracing this, I feel like this reading is literally mirroring the reading we did before with the Somnia Tarot. So almost like the Ace of Cups was like reminding of that heart space, like that heart center. The Four of Wands is just like sort of that I need to call in the power that I am a compassionate human being, right? That I need to celebrate my compassion and my strength and my courage and my rage, because the rage is going to fuel, but I can lead with compassion, and I can lead with kindness, and I can keep my moral compass. I can embrace all of these things. It's action, right? I feel like it's definitely a fiery, I mean, the figure's embracing. I like, it's like embracing the change, right? Like this, where we're headed, like we said, we don't know what's happening, but this is what to embrace. What's the power? The power is that I can openly accept it, and keep, you know what I mean? I can keep my authentic self, my moral compass. I can hold on to all those things. I can still connect to, the heart, that heart-centered space, and the fire and the passion that I have, and it's it's a celebration. Like there's still reason to celebrate. What's the power is that the spirit and is not going to be crushed. The power is that the spirit will not be crushed. I refuse to just sort of apathetically lay down and roll over, because I feel like that's sort of like how I got here. You know, how we as a collective, how I got here. I knew what I believed in, but it's like I didn't put actions to those things. I didn't do enough for me to feel like I made a difference. So even if this was the outcome, no matter what, this is personal for me in terms of me reflecting on like what I could have done differently and how I could have done different things and educated myself and been more involved and been more present and been more engaged with certain things and in certain spaces. So that's what I think I'm getting from this gentle tarot reading. It's a beautiful grounding, and it has made me feel better. And I just see, like I said, I kind of see the parallels between the two readings we did. And it's nice to have this return to gentle, and this feeling of love, this extra love that I needed. And I just feel like I'm getting it by having all the elements represented right now out in front of me. So please let me know, your thoughts about the readings, about what the cards that were pulled. I love to hear your interpretations on how you see it. I'm obviously looking at it through a very specific lens for this very specific situation and this climate that I'm in, and then that collectively, that we're in terms of this past week. So you could be seeing it through a totally different lens, and I would love to hear that as well. Please consider, if you haven't, subscribing to my channel, because Spread It Out Sunday is not going anywhere. So if this is something you enjoy, going through the cards, reading the cards, and making connections, I plan on doing a lot more of this, because it's really what I enjoy, and it's really what I enjoy bringing to the tarot community. It's not about so much the views as it's about me building a community of people who are embracing, sort of just reading the cards and being open to hear other people's interpretations, and just having a connection in that way, and learning from each other, and just getting so much from our connection in this community through reading the cards, and connecting with these tarot decks that are bringing so much meaning for us, and are sort of helping us anchor, and are such a tool for us as we move through very difficult periods of time. So I'm so thankful that you are here, and that you join me in this space that I create on Sundays, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.